Hey everyone, welcome back to the new episode of the Dreamers podcast. Today I have Hip Hop Heaven here with me. If you want to kind of go ahead and tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
My name's Joey. I'm the owner and founder of HipHop Heaven. I basically create custom hip hop art and merchandise. Basically, I create super unique pieces of hip hop memorabilia.
So yeah, before we dive into your very wide variety of
Yeah.
products and different things you make, if you can kind of talk about how you got to where you are now. Going through your page, it looked like you started with like different, I guess, toys based off like
Mhm.
albums and music videos, different like game cases based on albums. So if
Yeah.
you can kind of talk about how you got started and what made you want to make these products kind of based around different artists.
So originally, I had a TikTok where I made just music content, just like most normal people on TikTok make music content. They just go do song reviews pretty much and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I eventually went on Instagram and saw people making custom Pokemon cards of rappers. Like I'm sure you've seen tons. I've made
Mm-hmm.
a few of them. Yeah, so I started with that. The Instagram page I currently have is my third Instagram page. I've gotten banned like 3 times by record labels, unfortunately.
Uh-huh.
So I've had to bounce back like a bunch of different times. But yeah, I started making custom rap Pokemon cards and I posted them to TikTok and it eventually took off and started branching out to all sorts of other different types of products like posters, vinyl figures, game cases, and Tyler the Creator mirrors, the pillows. There's
Mm-hmm.
so much stuff I've released. Like it's hard to keep track anymore.
So yeah, going through your page, I mean, I made like a semi list, and it, uh, I didn't even, I couldn't get everything because there's just so many. Like every other post was like a new type of product, you
Yeah,
know. Um, so, I mean, you mentioned, well, your one of your most recent products, I think your most recent, just dropped is the Uzi Vert
yeah, the
tape,
pumpkin flags.
the flag, the actual flag of the album cover, which is such a cool idea.
Yeah.
Um, and then the album mirrors. I'll every product we talk about, I'll post pictures and stuff
Hmm.
while we're talking about it. But what, I guess, what was that process like? Wanting to having the idea and actually making it into a physical product, whether it be the mirrors or any larger project that you've done.
Yeah. So the mirrors, they're all completely handmade by me. Like
Mm-hmm.
everything, I go cut each one out. I sand each one. I route the inside of it so the mirror can fit into place. Everything's handmade pretty much. That's what people really don't understand. But where I got the idea from for the mirrors is online. I saw someone they turned the Tyler the Creator ID into a rug, but they had a mirror inside it. So I was like, why would they just not turn that into a normal mirror? And it
Uh-huh.
doesn't make any sense to have it as a rug. So yeah, I did that and sort of just popped up on TikTok, got millions of views, and sold out. I'm on my fifth drop now, and each drop sold out.
So yeah, that's just such a cool design. And for the audio listeners that can't see the photos, it's the I think you've done the "Call Me If You Get Lost" out of
Yeah,
the crater, like the little passport, but the image is the mirror. And then I think you've done "Blonde," and I don't know if you've done any other ones, but
yeah. I'm working on a Mac Miller, the Divine Feminine one.
oh
The
yeah, yeah,
cover looks like
the
the circle is yeah.
yeah, yeah,
If I
yeah.
had it with me right now, I'd show you, but
So that's awesome. And I mean, like you said, hand making those. Did you, I guess, have those skills beforehand, or is that something you wanted to learn because of this?
yeah. So originally, I started out with just the graphic design talent. That's basically all I really knew how to do. And then as I branched out to other streams of products, I had to adapt and learn how to cut the wood and everything's been learned over time pretty much.
Mhm.
Try to learn new things every day, I guess.
I mean, that's a good, kind of way to live.
Yeah.
What made you want to, kind of, we've talked about a little bit, it being based around rappers and stuff and different artists, but what made you want to, make more unique products? I mean, we've already just talked about a few and they've all been, completely different mediums. So what made you want to, do these different types of products rather than just, t-shirts and hoodies and,
I mean, if you look at basic merchandise right now, it's all super basic, like just a logo slapped onto a t-shirt of an artist's face or something.
mm-hmm,
I think it's just cool to have a piece of art that can represent your favorite artist. Like when you can look at it and be like, that's my favorite artist. It's a cool way to show off what the type of music you listen to.
and say, I mean, like you said, your videos about them, your different products have gotten really popular, especially on TikTok, and you've even gotten some of your products in the hands of different artists and creatives. Like I think I saw Snot, Eam Triplin, uh, Gideon, Kaisenat, like these huge creators. So what has that been like? Kind of seeing them react to your art in that way.
Yeah, so like the best part is getting to see the artist's reaction. Like you listen to them for their years, and you like get to actually meet them in person, hand them a piece of art that you made. Like that's just a dope experience.
So, I mean, what advice would you give to other people that want to, go out and kind of make these more unique and kind of diverse product lines? What would you say to them?
Yeah, I say like whatever comes to your mind, just like try to make it a reality. Like those pink tape flags that I just released, I wasn't even planning on releasing them, and they popped off and became one of the top selling items in my store. So like I like to, any idea like I love to bring to life. It's cool to like whatever idea you have in your head. It's so cool to like see it becoming into a physical form. I guess like these, I literally just drew them up one day in Photoshop and brought them to life.
So yeah, I think that's really cool. I mean, especially with the like Uzi Vert thing. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know how fast of a process that was, but I mean, the album's only been out a few weeks, and I
yeah.
mean, the cover art released like right before the album, so it wasn't like you've had months to
And
work on this.
I was right on that when the album came out. I was
Uh
like,
huh.
this happened.
So I think that turnaround speed is really impressive, and
Yeah.
obviously you can't do that for all of your projects, but I think that's really cool to see. Um, is that kind of, I guess, how you would describe your creative process in general? You just see an album or something that
Yeah,
inspires you.
yeah, most of my products just come to me like at a random time during the day. I'm like I have notes that are just filled with product ideas and product ideas. Like it just comes to me at random times.
Say, if you could go back to like when you first started, is there anything that you would change or any advice that you really wish you would have known?
I mean, yeah, like when I first started, I like never showed my face really. Everything I kept low key. Like again, never really reached out to people. I'd let people reach out to me. Like if I was way back then, I'd start reaching out to more people and branching out. That's what I've been doing now, and it's just led to super dope opportunities.
So yeah, I mean that's one thing with the podcast that I'd recommend is like
Yeah,
I think one thing I've learned even having like a smaller podcast is how I guess kind of more like close and how like small the world is.
yeah,
Like there are artists that a year and a half ago, like before I started the podcast, that I thought were like I'd never be able to even talk to, and now I've had them on the show, and they're just super awesome. And I mean, say you reached out to me back in like I think October or something a long time ago, and I was still like pretty early on in my career, and it was awesome to see someone that was making stuff at your caliber reach out to me so early. So I'm glad we were able to kind of finally link up for this. But
of course, it's about time.
I do think that's an important thing I would say to I mean all artists or creatives of any type is that if you want to ask someone a question or not like saying to DM all of your favorite artists, but like hey, want to collab, but people are a lot easier to reach in a sense than I think
Yeah,
some people think. So don't be afraid to just ask people questions, whether it be in a comment or a DM, because there are a lot of awesome people that are willing to help. So I think that's a cool thing to talk about.
yeah, man. Connections are key in this industry. Like the more people you know, like the more opportunities that there are. So.
So yeah, definitely. I want to kind of touch back a little bit on something you mentioned. You talked about kind of having that original like graphic design
Yeah.
background. Is that something? I guess maybe did you? I guess where did that come from? Was that just a hobby in high school? Did you start with a class, or have you always been kind of artistic growing up, and that's just kind of how it evolved into?
Yeah, so like pretty much every kid growing up, I wanted to be like a YouTuber. Like I was super inspired by like FaZe Clan and everything. So like I started like editing little Call of Duty videos, Fortnite videos.
Uh
That's what I
huh.
started out doing. I made Fortnite edits and stuff.
Nice.
And then I've eventually added like the love for YouTube, and I started editing videos for like some smaller YouTubers and making thumbnails and everything. So that's basically where I learned everything from, just over time.
Say, I'm curious. I'm from Kansas, so there's not as huge of a I guess hip hop scene here. And with social media and the art world being kind of connected to hip hop in a lot of ways, I was able to kind of grow my love for hip hop, and then that is where I got attached to kind of being more interested in the arts and different online artists and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm curious where you're from and kind of if that played into your interests in all of this.
Yeah, so I'm from Pittsburgh, so like Wiz Khalifa and Mac Miller are two of like the
Mm-hmm.
big guys here. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I grew up listening to them, and like I wasn't really in super into hip hop until I was like about like I don't know, like 14 or 15.
Mm-hmm.
Like I knew the songs that they'd come on the radio and stuff, but like I wasn't like deep into it, like waiting for an album to drop or anything.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I mean that's just something that came to me like since I was like once I was about like 15. That's when like I started getting into music and like waiting for Uzi to drop or Cardi to drop an album.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it all started.
So I'm curious then, like, what are some of your, I guess, favorite albums, or maybe albums that you think, albums or artists that you think are, underrated?
Yeah, so I'd say like some of my favorite albums are like Goodbye and Good Riddance. That's like a 10 out of 10 for me.
Mm-hmm.
17 by X.
Uh huh.
Those are like two of my favorites. Like there's no skips on either of those.
Say, I mean, you've done work based on all kinds of different rappers. I mean, you've shown the Kanye Pillow,
Yeah.
the Uzi Vert stuff, Frank Ocean, Tyler, all kinds of, different people. But is there anybody that you'd like to, like if you could collab with anybody, whether it be an artist or a brand or someone in the future, who would you choose and kind of why?
Yeah, well, I think like working with like Wiz Khalifa just because we're from both from Pittsburgh, I think that'd be like a super dope thing to
Mm-hmm.
happen to me. So he's definitely up there as one of the people I'd like to work with. Another, if I had to say, it's a long shot, but I mean like Cardi, that'd be like
Mm-hmm.
a dream come true. But I don't know, man. Cardi and Wiz would be like two amazing people to work with.
So yeah, speaking about Cardi, I know you've done what was it? I think the like custom one of one like kind of acrylic prints,
Yeah, the
or I guess how I guess whatever
figurine.
you'd call. Yeah, 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 yeah. The figurine. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you can kind of talk about what making that was like.
Yeah, so like I have a bunch of like connections on Instagram. Like I said, connections are key. So like I can reach out to like a 3D designer and we can come up with a design.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we did for the Cardi figurine. We went through like a bunch of different tests and finally found the one that we liked the most, and then we sent it over to the manufacturer and came out with that.
Say, I mean, with all these different types of products, and when we mentioned how the Uzi flag was, kind of a quicker turnaround, I guess what is the average process like? What I guess I mean I know it would differ for each product, but how often do you go from here's an idea, here's what I'm making, and then when does the product actually physically get in your hands?
Yeah, so for that flag, it was like a super like fast paced thing. Like the idea just came to me and
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't find any manufacturers right now for it. Like right when the idea came, so I just went to like a random website and like ordered the flag as like a what would I call it a sample. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so I used that one as a sample and posted it, and it went viral. And then I finally found the manufacturer, and we got them like made in bulk,
Mm-hmm.
and they went crazy.
Say, that's awesome. I mean, we've talked about your kind of process, how you just like see something, see an album, and ideas randomly come.
Yeah,
But do you ever feel like you have like creative blocks, or
yeah,
times when the ideas aren't coming? And how do you kind of go about overcoming those?
yeah. So right before I dropped the Tyler Mirrors, it was like late November. I felt like I was in a creative block. Like I had no idea what to make next. And then
Mm-hmm.
I just like go on Instagram and like scroll through my explore page until I try to find an idea. And that's when I saw that dude that turned the Tyler mirror into a rug. So then
Mm-hmm.
the idea for the mirror, like the physical mirror, came to me and I made it happen. And then ideas just roll off. Like once you get one idea, the more ideas just keep flowing after it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's one thing that not even being I guess traditional artist in a sense, but just my explore page for the podcast is just all kinds of like insane art, and like I could just, just from like scrolling for 5 minutes, I can find insane artists of all kinds of different varieties. So I think, yeah, that's a great way is just to whether it be looking at art on social media or watching a movie you've been meaning to watch, or like an album been meaning to go back and listen to. I mean, there's all kinds of different ways. But what do you like to do when you're not, creating art or kind of working on these projects? What do you do in your free time?
Listen to podcasts,
Nice.
um, hang out with my girlfriend and friends. I mean, yeah, that's basically it. I mean, I like to travel too, travel and meet a bunch of different artists. That's like one of my favorite things to do.
I guess we've talked about some of the different stuff, like the mirrors, the flags. You've also done like custom, like resin tables,
Yeah,
like huge scale
yeah,
tables.
right there. I hung them up on the wall. I made them like so they can hang up on the wall instead of be a table.
That's so cool. So I'll post some of the other ones you've got there, but with some of those larger projects, and even some of the more difficult, smaller ones, what has been one of or some of the most difficult challenges when creating these kind of unique projects?
The most challenging I'd say would be the Tyler mirrors, just because I have to go through and hand cut each one. And yeah, I mean, I do it like basically everything myself. I have a partner, but he lives in Rhode Island, so he comes down like yeah. So we try to get him out here at least like once a month just to help out with projects. Yeah, I'd say like the hardest part is doing everything alone, pretty much. Like making 50 mirrors all by myself
Mm-hmm.
and shipping almost everything by myself. My girlfriend helps me ship too, so it makes it a little bit easier. But yeah, that's one of the most challenging things about doing what I do.
Hi guys! We wanted to take a quick break from today's episode to let you know that we recently launched the Dreamers Discord server. If you want to connect with other creatives and stay up to date on the podcast, as well as have access to exclusive live streams, events, giveaways, and more, then make sure to click the link in our bio to join.
Say, have there been a lot of ideas that you've had where go to the actual physical creation process and it just doesn't turn out, uh, how you thought, or it's too difficult of a process to kind of more mass produced? Is there any kind of unreleased products that you really wanted to get out, but as of
Yeah,
now it just hasn't?
yeah. I mean, with those Cardi figurines that I was planning on releasing those as like a big drop, but
Mm-hmm.
I limited it to a one of one. But like, it was just the process of getting them made. It was just too expensive, and I didn't think it would have paid off to release them.
Mm-hmm. That's one thing I've heard. I know a lot of people really want to get into making vinyl figures, but yeah, the process can be kind of
Yeah.
uh, making the molds and
Expensive.
everything can be expensive. So yeah. Um, so I mean, I guess do you have any big plans or anything for 2023? Any projects, collaborations, anything that people should look forward to?
Yeah, so I mean, I have drops planned out for almost like every month. I have the Mac Miller Divine Feminine mirror dropping hopefully sometime next month. And I have two new colorways of these pilloways that are going to be dropping. Yeah, I just got drops planned out from like I have so many products that are yet to release. Like I can't even remember them all off the top of my head, to be honest.
So yeah, and if anybody's interested, I will have your shop posted down below. So I know you have like a pre-order for the pillows on there, some other like wrap cards, posters, and different pieces. So if people want to check those out, those should be available as you're listening to this. And kind of to talk about some of those, I know you have like the receipt posters where it's kind of
Yeah,
like a album track list, but it looks kind of like a big receipt. You have like Lego versions of popular albums. Can you kind of talk about what, I don't like to say the word inspired, but what inspired you to kind of make those?
yeah. So like I've seen people like before, like around when I first started, like they just made like little receipts, like they turned an album into like a little receipt. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, why don't people just make those posters? So that's why I came up with the idea for those. And products like those are the ones that stay on my site like consistently. And I try to have like a big drop like at least 2 times a month. And like the cards and posters are like the little things that are consistently on my site.
Mm-hmm. So the cards are something that kind of always try to have in stock.
Yeah. I mean, I've sort of like strayed away from making them recently because I've been like, I like making the bigger projects and like the more difficult stuff.
Say, is there any project that, I mean, we talked about ones that kind of didn't go through all the way with
Mhm.
the figure, but is there any kind of, I guess, large scale product, even if it was like a one of one or something that you'd really like to create in the future if you have the means to do it?
Yeah, I've really been wanting to make like a whole lot of red mirror, like Cardi's in it. He's like the black, but instead
Yeah.
of black, like it'd just be the mirror and like the red dripping down it. I think that would be a super
Mm-hmm.
dope product to make.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Also, there is one more product. I can show you a picture of it real quick.
Okay.
This is like super low key. I haven't showed anyone this yet.
Ooh, we got an exclusive. An exclusive.
So it's gonna be like the Kanye bear, but it's gonna be like a giant beanbag chair. It's gonna be around like
Oh.
5 foot tall.
Uh
Yeah, bro, this project's gonna be crazy.
huh. That's sick. Yeah, that's I mean, the bear is like such a popular,
Yeah,
I guess icon in hip hop in that sense, a mascot, literally. So that's really cool. That's awesome. I can't wait
yeah,
to
I
see.
completely forgot about that one. Until, yeah, that's been in
Yeah,
the works also.
you got too much going on. And I mean, I got to ask with Utopia dropping last night, do you have any ideas cooking or anything that you want to talk about for Utopia?
Honestly, like when I try to think of like ideas for products, it mainly comes from the album art, and like that album art just ain't giving me nothing. Like even the first couple of album covers he released, like on his Instagram, like I got nothing for those as of right now.
Yeah, no, that's true. I've only listened to like half of it because I've been busy, but yeah, even with I don't even know what all are like official covers because he's posted so many different things. So I don't, other than the main one, and the one of like the guy in the car. I don't know what are all the official ones,
Yeah,
but yeah, from what I've seen, it would be kind of hard to
yeah. I
make a
mean,
product based on those. So I
yeah.
get that.
One of the products I was thinking about making, someone can steal this if they want. I was like, you see how they were walking around with like the briefcases and like the artist would appear with it. I wanted to
Yeah.
make that into like a physical product that like people could buy, like Utopia briefcases.
That would actually be kind of cool because I mean that was kind of a big part of the marketing for that album, and then that kind of made me think. I know going through your page, you have some more, I guess one of one like exclusive items that I don't know if you ever sold or some of them even made physical, but like you did the one that I liked was you did the like Dr. Seuss like Drake the
Yeah,
type of guy too, which I'll
I've
post.
really been wanting to make that into a physical book. Like people would go crazy for that.
Yeah, no, that was pretty funny when I saw that one. You've done like fake little products like you did Sour Patch Wrappers.
Hmm.
I think you did like a rapper yearbook thing. So I think some of those items are really unique, even if you don't sell them on a wider scale. Like just to see like that stuff in a TikTok or a video or something is really cool, and I think inspiring to some people that
Yeah.
you can just take your influences and stuff that listen people you listen to and kind of what they're doing and use that graphic design skills that you have, that
Hmm.
skill set, and just kind of you make unique products.
Yeah. I mean, products like that are nice because like, so those are products like I've never released or don't even plan on releasing, but like those are the videos that go most viral and get people to my page. Of
Hmm.
course, like the products I don't really put any time into are like the ones that go crazy viral. But I mean, it is what it is.
Uh-huh. So yeah, that's I think a lot of time I always see with the TikTok shop, since they added that, I always get like small businesses and stuff,
Yeah,
and then like here's what I thought would be really sell really well, and it's like here's what actually sold well, and like I didn't even really care for it, but it's by far my best seller. So I think
yeah,
just kind of uh, acting on ideas you have, and even if you don't think it's amazing, uh, a lot of other people can think it's amazing. So just to kind of act on what you do, just do it in a sense,
yeah,
is I think really important for creatives of any type. Um, but I mean, we talked about a little bit what your plans are for the next couple months. You have a lot of releases, but where do you see, I guess, either yourself or Hip Hop Heaven as a company in like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, even past that? Where would you like to see yourself and the company?
yeah, man. It's crazy to think. I started this when I was like 16. It was about 3 years ago. I'm 19 now, and like I would
Mm-hmm.
have never expected it to grow to where it is now. So like when I look like even 5 years from now, like honestly, I won't even be able to imagine. Like I have no clue where it's gonna be in 5 years. Hopefully, like on top, like one of the main goals is to eventually put out like official merchandise and like
Mm-hmm.
collaborations with the artists.
So yeah, that's one thing I'm honestly surprised. I mean, I don't know if you've
Yeah,
talked to people before, but I mean that's like just seeing your stuff. If I was a rapper, even some of the ones that you've made products of that, I mean, I would reach out. So I think that's definitely something that if it's not kind of in the works now, if you can't talk about it, but I think that's something that will definitely easily come in the future. So that'll be
Yeah.
awesome to see.
Yeah, I'm in talks with Atlantic Records. I can't say for which artist we're talking about working on something
Hmm.
for, but like that could something can happen with them in the future.
So yeah, because I think that's important. There are some artists recently that I know have done really cool, kind of more unique designs on clothing. Like I think I saw some Yeats merch, someone else, but kind of more unique designs rather than just you said like a logo or like their face and like the yeah, like the '90s style rapper tee, but it's just kind of generic in a sense. Um, so I think kind of more unique products and stuff is a really cool way to go. I know one of my favorite rappers, Freddie Gibbs. For his last album, it was like kind of casino themed, and he had like plastic like membership cards, like for a hotel, for a casino, and all this stuff. And I didn't end up copying it, but I just thought it was so cool to have stuff like that other than a CD or a vinyl, which are still cool, but to have, kind of the more unique physical items relating to an album or, a clothing drop or whatever, I think is really cool. And I hope to see more unique stuff like that with artists in the future. So I think you'd be, perfect collab for whoever you're working with or might work with in the future. So that'll be awesome to see, and I can't wait.
Yeah, most definitely.
Say, I mean, is there anything else? Any advice that you'd give to anybody out there, whether they want to make physical products or just create, in general? What would you like to say to them?
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta follow your dreams, and like, it sounds cliche, but I mean, like, I was just a normal kid in high school when I started this, and now I get to do it as a full time job. So I mean, like, anything is possible. Your life can change in the matter of months. Like, just any idea that comes to you, just try to make it a reality. There's really nothing to lose.
So yeah, I mean, I did just kind of mention it, but I think the just do it attitude is kind of really good, especially in kind of the art world. Like,
Yeah,
the more I work on my podcast, whether it be, editing videos or anything, I slowly get better over time. And
yeah,
while if I go back to some of the stuff, like my first thumbnails were like baby blue, like the color in my logo, but they were just literally just the like baby blue blank background with like a little piece of art and then like text, and it looked so bad. But if I didn't do those and just put out the podcast and just keep going, I never would have got to where I am now. And like I
hmm,
don't I'm a lot prouder of what I'm making. Like
yeah,
I went from barely knowing how to edit 2 years ago to now being able to do decently cool videos and transitions and stuff. And I still have a lot to learn, and I'm excited to see what my stuff will look like in a year from now, 2 years from now. But you're not just gonna put out a Kanye pillow tomorrow,
yeah,
with your idea, or put out mirrors like that. Um, but it's a like you said, in just a couple of months your life can change. You can start learning a skill today, and you're probably not going to be great at it tomorrow or in a week or two, but a couple of months from now you could make something that a lot of people like, even though you just learned it, and then that'll just keep snowballing and snowballing. So I think that's a topic that I talk about in a lot of episodes, but I think kind of an important thing that you mentioned. But I mean, lastly, is there anything that we didn't talk about that you wanted to mention? Any products or anything?
Honestly, man, I don't. Nothing can come. Nothing's coming to my head as of right now. I mean, probably like tonight, I'll be like, oh man, I should have talked about this. I should have talked about that. But
So yeah, no worries. Well, other than that, I appreciate you for coming on. I'm glad we were able to finally, make this happen. And like I said, back when I was still kind of starting, and seeing your message was, kind of uplifting to me that you reached out. So I'm glad we were able to finally talk and link up. I can't wait to see, the more products you have lined up for the future. But thanks for your time, and I can't wait to talk to you again in the future.
of course, man, likewise, we got to run this back in like a year or so and see where both of us are at.
So it sounds good to me.